Good afternoon. Just want to show a quick demonstration of how I fixed this Kenwood TKR 850. I was having trouble decoding PL tones. Very strange thing. It required, the industry standard for decoding PL tones is 600 Hertz. That's a EIA standard. Don't quote me on the numbers and such for the actual protocol, but it's 600 Hertz of deviation. So what we have up here is a IFR dialed to our input frequency. And here we're on the 2 kilohertz deviation scale, and we're going to set this to 1 tick mark above 5. There we go. And we can even look at our modulation there. We're just a hair bit over 600. If I just breathe on that PL tone deviation, come on. A couple of hertz here and there ain't going to matter. 600 right on the dot. Couldn't ask for a better number. Anyway. Here we are on our input frequency, and if I turn up the gain, well, let me turn up the local speaker here, and give you a noisy signal. There we are. We're starting to decode at 600 Hertz. Now, what would happen is the required deviation to unlock the thing would also, man, that thing is sensitive. Whew! In order for, when this was not working correctly, it would take sometimes as much as 1,000 Hertz of PL tone deviation to get the thing to open up. That was our problem. And come to find out, after doing a receiver frequency alignment using one of these cables right here. This was given to me by a good friend, but it has one of these connectors. It's very common in Kenwood and Motorola commercial radios. You go in here to this lower connection point, and using the PC software you set your receive frequency, hopefully to a traceable standard, and which I've done that here, and that seems to have really improved the PL tone receive capabilities, or necessary receive deviation. So if I'll show you how low this thing's go. If we well, hang on, let me turn back on the generator. Gives a little bit of a fully quieting signal there. You still see we're at, and this is in kilohertz, but it's 0.600, so that's 600 Hertz. If I start backing down the deviation, here we're already at 200, and it cuts off right there about 200. Well, maybe even lower than that. We're still open. Cut off right around 135. 136, 137, 137 Hertz. That is a far cry better. That's almost a 10-fold increase or decrease in necessary deviation. So that evidently must have been our problem, is the receiver was so far off frequency that needed to be touched up. And it wasn't just necessarily a VCO problem. Kind of boggles my mind. I've never had to do that before. But hey, there's a lot I don't know about these Kenwoods. I went ahead and let me turn this off so we're not just transmitting. I went ahead and also properly set the receive filters using the same cable and that joint back there with the IFR in a duplex mode. And now this thing is a hot receiver, as we can see. If I turn back on the generator, well, let me turn up our PL deviation where it's supposed to be again. In that ballpark, 500. You see we're at a hair under 0.2 microvolts. There's 0.2, and I wouldn't call that 12 dB synad, maybe 15. No popping. Right there. Oh, there goes its ID. But you see there, we're approaching 0.1 microvolts. I can't even get the thing to, there we go. Makes a big difference when you line those receive filters. Makes a big difference when you line those receive filters with a proper signal generator, receiver, or a spectrum analyzer, however you do it. I've been mostly doing it by ear, which I know is not the correct way of doing it, but it's gotten me pretty far. But from now on, I think I'm going to start using that cable instead of doing it the lazy way. Anyway, hopefully this is useful for somebody, if nothing else. That's useful for me to when I have this issue again in the future. We'll see this repeater on the air. This is the N5BVA BVRC South repeater located up on Dodd Mountain. Hopefully we're going to get Tim his spare back. We can get this thing finally off my workbench and on the air. 73 K5 DVT.